Hi everyone, it's Jane's story. Thank you for following this series, and thank you very much for your interest in my work. It's certainly been a long time that I've been putting it together, and if you want to hear what other people have to say about this new paradigm of the mind-body connection in sport, just go to my website and have a look at the testimonials. Today we're just going to have a very quick look at the final key in the 10 Keys to Mastering Pressure, taken from my new ebook, The Practice of High Performance. Key number 10 is simply downtime and recuperation. Now, I'm asking you to do your performance practices, whether that's seated meditation, standing meditation, slow movement drills, different kinds of deep practices taken from the internal arts, the martial arts, and the Zen arts of the East, which are all documented in the ebook. But when you do a performance practice, when you start to meditate, you start to be quiet, and you develop a different relationship with your body, things change. The way that you approach your sport changes, the way that you move changes, the way you set up to the golf ball will vary, will fluctuate, will become much more subtle. You'll start to develop this ability to set up from the inside rather than going through a checklist of points in your mind. All sorts of things start to happen. When you become quieter inside, you notice things, you become more appreciative, you become more self-aware, you become more sensitive to your own moods, and you can see how your mind changes, how the emotions change. You can start to see tightness and tension in the body and know how to do something about it. So I don't want you to be too hard about the training. I do want you to commit at least 15 or 20 minutes a day. But you need to give yourself a bit of time every now and then just to let these new changes and these new insights that you're going to have into yourself and your sport, you need to let them settle. So even monks at the a Buddhist monastery have certain days of the month that they don't do their practice. So it's very, very important. It's also important not to try too hard. I had one client recently who told me that he practiced, half an hour a day, twice a day, every day. But when you have too much willpower or too much willful will, it's counterproductive. When you try to force the training, when you try to fit it in, when you haven't got the time, or maybe you're not feeling well that day, it's also counterproductive. So you need to be consistent, you need to be patient, you need to do your training. But when you need to stop for a day or a couple of days, that's okay, provided that you go back to it. It'd also be really interesting for you on the days that you decide, well, I'm not going to sit or stand and do my meditation today. On those days, just see if you can bring some attention to your body, to the hara or the dantian, maybe the lower body, the sensation of your feet and how your legs are supporting you, and of course your breathing. If you can bring some attention to these areas when you're doing other things, when you're, watching a movie, when you're in your garden, when you're out on your bike, when you're listening to music, washing up, we're breathing all the time, whatever we're doing. And we want to try to inhabit this physical body of ours, whatever we're doing. And then, of course, you start to notice how busy the mind is and how very rarely we are where we are. You can be driving the car and suddenly, wow, I'm at my destination, but I don't remember getting here. So you want to try and cut into this autopilot setting that most of us are on most of the time. So on those days that you say, I'm not going to do my practice today, try to bring it subtly into your everyday activities. And this is really going to help you when you're preparing for your sport, because you'll remember when you're putting your kit on, when you're strapping on your golf glove, when you're gripping the putter, or you're waiting for your opponent to serve. In those moments, you'll remember, because you've done this type of training, to bring the attention back inside, to be with your breathing, to relax, to develop this state of relaxed readiness that we talked about earlier. But all of this is cumulative, it's progressive, it takes time, but none of it's going to happen unless you start doing your performance practice. So why don't you start today? Either get hold of the ebook, or on the website you can get a free training report, which is called Zen Mind, Sports Mind, and it documents the relationship between flow and the meditative state. Okay, so one day at a time, please do your practice. I'm very interested in anybody who is committed to their practice. If you want help, if you want advice, I don't just offer coaching one-to-one and online, but I can give you advice if you send me an email. Tell me about yourself, tell me about your sport, why are you so interested in this new paradigm, and any questions that you have related to your practice. Okay, so I'll see you in the next series. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, although I've got an idea to bring you something about the formula for getting into flow. The formula is skill plus passion minus mental interference. So again, another really good reason for you to start your performance practice.